Hey everybody, it's Cauliflowerman here bringing you a Helix build for Toby on the game Battleborn. Toby is probably my favorite character on this game. He's hard to play, but if played correctly, he's one of the strongest characters in the game. He can just deal out massive damage, and you really have to focus on him. Otherwise, he's going to give you a real terrible time. So if you look on the left of the screen there, it says he's adorable, territorial, and advanced. I don't know about the adorable part, but he's territorial, and I would say he's advanced to play at a high level. You should be able to play him pretty well at any level, but he's hard to play very well. And if we look on the right side, his passive is his boosters. If you double jump the second jump while he's in the air, it'll activate a booster. It can either launch him farther forward, or later on you can make it boost him up into the air. You get 3 charges, and they recharge over 8 seconds. However, if you use a boost in the middle of while another boost is recharging, that resets the recharge. So you want to let the boost recharge fully and then use it before it starts recharging on the next boost. Below that, it's just his custom railgun. His railgun can charge up, and it does more damage at higher charge levels. You want to have it fully charged. When you fully charge his railgun, you'll notice the yellow squares in the center of the screen turn to blue. When it's blue, it's fully charged, and you deal quite a bit more damage. I think it's almost double the damage of non-fully charged shots, so you really want to fully charge all his shots. Then the next one's just talking about his mech. That's kind of useless information. His arc mine. This is his area of effect damage dealer. It does a lot of damage to minions specifically. You want to shoot it at minion waves. Later on at level 4, you'll get it with a 2-second stun, and then that'll allow you to do a huge amount of damage to enemy Battleborn, as well as basically use Toby very defensively, just because when people try to engage you, they'll be coming at you from the front. It makes them easy targets to get stunned, and you can push them back. Below his arc mine is his force field. This force field, it does provide a defensive bonus, but the main bonus that it provides is the attack bonus that it provides to your railgun. Also, you'll probably get a 25% attack bonus on this force field, but it also increases just the railgun's velocity. Your railgun shoots quite slowly. However, when you're behind the force field, it'll shoot almost instantaneously across the map, making it a lot easier to hit people at range. The one thing about this velocity bonus and damage bonus of the force field is it's hard to get it if you're mobile while you're shooting. You want to just stand in one point or move just small bits behind the force field in order to keep its attack bonuses. The other thing to remember too is it's always good to put this force field behind walls or partially behind walls. That way it's harder for enemies to hit, because you really want to use it for attack purposes rather than for defensive purposes. If the enemy starts firing at your force field, it's gone, and then it's just basically useless. So you want to use it back in places where people can't really see it, and then just ping away at them, and so that by the time they see you, they're already dead. Then finally, he's got his ultimate. Toby's ultimate does do a lot of damage, 325 damage a second for 6 seconds. It does a lot more once you get to level 10, and you can also slow people with it. But Toby's ultimate actually is probably best used on minions, just for the simple fact that he does enough damage against Battleborn that you'll do more damage out of ult form than you will in ult form, and it's a lot easier to make enemies miss you. So use his ultimate generally for AI, like minions or thralls or things of that nature. Alright, so let's look at Toby's Helix here. So level 1, I always go to the right here on level 1 for the simple reason that the arc mine does almost 133 damage. It does like 80 damage per tick. Anyways, so shooting it and getting just 133 damage isn't worth it. You'll get way more damage, especially because the arc mine's area of effect, if you just let it finish out the whole skill. So then off to the right, it gives you plus 25% damage bonus when you shoot through your force field, and that just means anytime that the railgun gets the velocity bonus, it also gets plus 25% damage, so you deal huge damage when shooting through the shield. Now if you look at level 2 here, you don't really want to use the force field all that much for offensive purposes, so the 30% movement speed in it isn't good, and it doesn't help you at all because you want to be in one spot, you want to be immobile. So the 30% movement speed is kind of useless. If you go to the right, then this gives you plus 14% health regen, which is always good because you're using that force field way back where enemies can't shoot it, and then you also get a plus 15% attack speed, and when that gets coupled with your 25% attack damage and the increased velocity, it just means that Toby does huge attack damage when he's behind his force field. Now level 3, you can go to the left to reveal enemies, but I don't really know why you would want to reveal enemies that much. The main reason being that Toby's main weakness is that he's kind of a squishy character. He doesn't have a whole lot of shields and health, so the plus 240 shield strength is big. That makes him a lot more tanky. And I also couple that with gear that increases his shield and health. I like to make Toby almost a tanky character, because if he's kind of weak, then it only takes one stun to kill him, but if you add on extra health gear and shield gear, as well as giving him the shields here, then it makes him a lot more tanky, and he gets almost like 3,000 total health and shields together, which is a lot for anybody to try and push through. Level 4, always go to the right, get that stun. The stun is your primary defensive move. When enemy Battleborn are pushing at you, they're very easy targets to hit directly with the arc mine, and so then you can stun them. If you stun them, you can get one fully charged shot into them, and then by the time you fully charge your second shot, they'll just have begun moving, so the second shot is usually pretty easy too. So that stun really makes it so that enemies have to think twice before pushing on you. And it really makes it so that ranged enemies are the only ones who can really deal with you very well. So now if you look at level 5 here, level 5, you can either gain one charge to the left, that's pretty good. The center mutation to give him extra, or to propel him upward, is usually the one I go with, and then the final mutation, which gives him damage resistance, is good as well. You can really choose any one of these three, it's a toss-up. Using the one to the left makes you a little more mobile. Using the one to the center makes it so you can make jumps that other people can't and other people won't expect you to be at, and so it gives you the advantage of angles. Then the 30% damage reduction will make it so that when enemies are following you and you try and boost out of there and you're just sprinting away hoping they can't kill you, you'll have extra damage reduction, so you'll be harder to kill. But like I said, usually I like to use the center mutation and propel myself upwards. Level 6 here, this one is also sort of a toss-up, although I'll usually go to the left or use the center mutation. The left side one is good because it splits the railgun into 3 blasts. The only thing is the angle that it splits it is quite wide, meaning you have to shoot it. The enemies have to be quite far apart in order for you to hit multiple ones, or they have to be close enough to your shield that it'll split and it won't move that far apart. Although if you have enemies that are that close to your shield, it usually means your shield's about to get broken anyways. So usually I don't go to the left. I'll usually go to the center just to make my railgun shot larger. That makes it easier to hit people, and when you hit people with it, you nail them. So that's what I usually like. The one to the right can be useful because it does a lot more damage to shields. So you can use an arc mine earlier and on a character like a Shane and expect to actually get them close to dead, whereas usually you wouldn't be able to kill a Shane. But like I said, usually I go for the center on level 6 here. Okay, so now if we look at the next level, any one of these are pretty good. The railgun shot penetrating the enemies is generally what I get, just because if you shoot that at minions, you can hit 2 or 3 enemies very easily. Sometimes you'll even hit 4, and that gives you huge damage per second. The left side is it's somewhat decent, decreasing the time required to fully charge the railgun. That makes you generally do more damage against enemy Battleborn. And then in the center, the self-destruct is pretty good, just because if people charge you, you can usually get them close to death if they do actually kill you. However, I never like to level up my characters based on planning around me dying, so I don't go for the self-destruct. I usually go for the penetrate just because it really maxes out your damage, gives you a huge amount of minion damage, and so you can clear the enemy minion wave in your while your team focuses on enemy Battleborn, and then you clear the enemy minion wave so fast you can focus on the Battleborn for quite a long time too. Level 8 here, this is all about increasing or changing the shield. You can increase the effective range of the shield. That makes the shield bigger and a bigger target, and I always try and keep my shield hidden because I use it more for the attack advantage, the attack bonuses, so I never go to the left. I always go to the right to double its health. Like I said, I usually put the shield in walls and whatnot and keep it hidden. I'm trying to get the attack bonus from it more than the defense, so the extra health just makes it harder for them to eliminate the shield, and generally if you keep it hidden well enough with this extra health, by the time they eliminate it, you've got your next one already coming up, so it's not really a problem. Level 3, any one of these are good. To the left increases the area of effect by 30%. That's best for minions. Decreasing the cooldown of the arc mine just generally increases the damage because you can use it more often, so that's good. That's the kind of do-it-all choice. And then to the right just increases the damage by 15%. That's generally best for if you're attacking Battleborn, so that you get the kill every time you stun somebody. Like I said, any one of those are good. Level 10 here then. The left side, I generally don't like going to the left. The only thing that's good about the left is it seems to be easier to survive if you use the triple charge. But the 3-second slow is great, especially if you're attacking either enemy minion waves or large tanky characters, and that's really the only people you want to ult with Toby, because his ult makes him vulnerable. But if you get the 3-second slow, it keeps enemy minion waves away from you. And then it also will make it easier to hit larger characters. So now let's take a look at his gear here. Like I said before, Toby I just put on extra health gear. It's all about survivability. This first gear is gear that I like to put on a lot of high damage characters. It gives them plus 280 health generally, and then plus 210 health for 30 seconds after assisting in killing a player or major enemy. And with Toby, especially when I use that penetrate, I hit almost every major enemy, so I get assists all the time. So I'm running at plus 490 total health, which is quite a lot. It keeps you alive there. Whoops, sorry, I guess got to get back here to the page. The next one that I had, I think it was health regen gear. Where is Toby? Yeah, the next one I had was just max rolled basic health gear. Yeah, there we go. I guess there I go over to it. 14 health regen per second. All the max rolled stuff is at 420 cost. I wonder who wrote that. I wonder if it was a pot smoker working at Gearbox. I really wonder. But anyways, the third thing that I have is max shield strength. This one, it just gives me extra shield strength for 10 seconds after killing minions or minor enemies, and you do that all the time as Toby with his arc mine or with his railgun. And it's got the negative reload speed because Toby doesn't reload, so obviously you can add that on there and it doesn't matter at all. And with this build, it's all about just increasing Toby's health and shield. You give him basically plus like 730 total health and shield, which is huge, and then that extra health regen. And he's also got the little bit of health regen from his shield that he sits behind, so that makes Toby very hard to kill. And if anyone does actually try to charge you, then you just stun them and you put huge damage on them. So because your damage output is so high, and with this gear your health is so high, if anyone does try and kill you, you'll be able to kill them before they kill you. And so it really just makes Toby one of the top characters